reality is this, is what he's saying is so true. You cannot do life alone, period. Okay? And that is, that's a statement that I preached a message, I guess it was 2 years ago, on doing life together. I don't know, some of y'all may remember that message that I preached. But, we're just not in this when things are good. All right? We're in this when life sucks, okay? Because life sucks sometimes. And that's on video. So I just said that on the camera, all right? So, life does. It just seems like, I can't tell you how it just, my jaw locks sometimes when people say, well, I thought you were a Christian and everything was supposed to be wonderful. Where did you get that information? Because that's just not so, is it? And this class that we're doing today on this chapter is, I don't know if I can do this or not. Deidre, can you figure this out? I don't know if it's this or that. Okay. The reality is this, all right, is life gives us whiplash, doesn't it? Did you read that chapter in the book this week? Was that the most powerful chapter you've ever read? I mean, we're going to spend the whole week, maybe we're going to spend this week and next week on being whiplashed, okay? I'm not going to get in a rush to get through this because this thing is so powerful. Janice, you've had whiplash in life, right? Backlash, whiplash, uplash, frontlash. I mean, I've been lashed in every way. It wasn't just a whiplash. I mean, who can say, yeah, I've had some whiplashes in my life? Who wants to? Margaret? Deborah? Yeah. Life is giving you a whiplash. You thought you were going in one direction, and what happens? And it jerks you. What is a whiplash? Medical staff over here. What is a whiplash, Teresa? Teresa's a chiropractor. What is a whiplash?
An acceleration, deceleration injury. Explain. It means that you go forward and you go back and you go forward again and you go back. And it creates trauma.
It creates trauma.
It creates a shearing force against two objects.
Ouch. And that's what life has been sometimes. You think you're going full force in this one direction, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, I can't remember the movie when I was reading the picture, but there was a movie to where this guy is doing this, and then, I don't know, he's just living through life, and then all of a sudden something happens, and he's like sucked back. In the movie, all of the whole scene begins, he looks like he's going back through a tunnel, and he's being sucked back into this other thing, and thrown back forward, and then pulled back. That's how life is. And just because that happens doesn't mean that you're not serving God. Sometimes we just think that if we get a whiplash, it's because we've done God wrong. I got news for you. The reality is, in this book, in the Bible, there are so many great heroes of faith that suffered not only one whiplash, they suffered 2, 3, 4, and some of these things were, you say, well, what is God doing? Is he just testing us? What is he trying to do? Well, we're going to get to that. All right, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to squeal and give you the final, the beginning, the end in the beginning. The reality is, life suffers us whiplash. So, we're going to talk about what do we do in those times. It is so important. If you're not in a small group, please see me after the service because we will get you into a small group. Women Wanting Wisdom, these meetings, these are small groups. All right, these are small groups for women. And you say, well, I go to a group, every now and then we get together. Listen, life doesn't happen every now and then. All right, you need to have somebody that you can pick up the phone and say, I'm having a really rough week. I'm having a really rough day. And you don't have to go into great explanation with that person that loves you because you know that they're going to love you no matter what. That's what real community is. That's what really being a family is. That's what it really means to do life together. I don't care what in the world could come into my life, and many things have and come and gone. But the reality is, and Margaret will look at me every now and then and she'll go, Kathleen Louise, I love you. I will never question. Okay, that's one of them. All right, because she's seen me on my good days. She's seen me on my bad days. Okay, she's seen me when I was, full of faith and power, and she's seen me, when I'm going, I give up, I quit. She's seen me in all those places, but one solid factor is this, is that I know, no matter what whiplash I may have or what life may look like, this woman loves me. She doesn't love what I do sometimes. She doesn't love what I'm acting like sometimes. But she loves me. And that's what community is about. Is really being committed to the other person. That doesn't mean you're getting in each other's business. You're not, trying to mess with people's heads, but you're just letting them know that in this life they are not alone. Amen? Janice, you're not alone. You're stuck with me. Okay? And whether you like it or not. Sometimes God uses our community to confront us and say, hey, you know what? I'm with you, but you need to really, let's pray about this. Let's talk about this. Maybe we need to go and, can we talk about other options? That's what community is about. It's so vitally important. And I love, if you have a book, we're going to talk about, first of all, what I wanted to, I missed this last week, and I wanted to go back and just recap with you about life. When we were talking about being paralyzed last week, Matthew 6:25. One of Jesus' most brilliant teachings spoke to this very topic. In his famous Sermon on the Mount, he addresses the paralyzing worry, the fear, the anxiety. We all have those, right? Each one of us tend to experience when confronted with a Plan B experience. And these were Jesus' words. So I tell you, don't worry. Say that out loud with me. Don't worry. Okay? Don't worry. Be happy. Don't be anxious in anything. Don't be anxious about the food or the drink you need to live, or about the clothes you need for your body. Life is more than food, and the body is more than clothes. No, it is. It is. All right. Is Jesus saying you shouldn't be concerned about the fact that you lost your job, or the economy is tanking, or your marriage is unraveling, your kids are straying, or your friend is dying? Absolutely not. He's just saying, I want to give you a different perspective. I want to help you retrain your mind. That's what God's saying, is that even, Jesus was saying this, he says, even in the worst storm, don't allow your mind to run haywire. Okay? I know that we do this, women, very easily. We get into it twice and we start imagining. We start, and this is going to lead to this, and this is going to lead to this, and then it's going to be this, and we've told a whole story, and we're still just in a very opening moment. We do not know. We have to be anxious for nothing, and in all things give thanks. Say that. Be anxious in nothing, and in all things give thanks. Ow! Ow, 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 ow. It took us, we were facing just this past month, and this is about being part of community. Jerry and I have taken we've made a real step of faith in building Metro Christian Fellowship and being in this city. And we have faced some huge financial challenges. And, we didn't have the money to pay our taxes on our house. It was due December 31st. We were like going, we don't know. And Jerry looked at me and I'm he went bankrupt big time. It was a nightmare. And so he went one day to visit with his dad, and his dad, he said, Dad, what am I going to do? He said, the phone's ringing off the hook, the collectors are calling, it's just a nightmare, what am I going to do? And he said his dad gave him some of the wisest advice. He said, well, son, they can't eat you. And he said, thanks, okay? I needed to hear that. But so Jerry and I were walking around going, God, we don't know what we're going to do. We don't know what we're going to do. And so we went over and we tried. We thought, well, we'll go ahead and make a portion of the payment, and then maybe next month we'll have it, and then we'll try and we'll do it in 3 months. You know what? They told us they didn't want our money. They didn't want a portion of it. They wanted it all or nothing. And so I'm like going, Jesus, 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 Well, yesterday, the Lord worked it out so we could go. We still have, we have this money that we have to pay back, but we were able to come up with the money to pay the taxes. And I was just so thankful. I was so relieved yesterday when we went over to the tax office, and I got the most unhappiest person in the world. And I walked in and I said, this is here, I'm here to pay my property taxes. And this person goes, huh? I said, oh. And I'm thinking, why are you being this way? Why are you being so ugly? Don't you know this is a miracle? Don't you know that this is a miracle that I can even stand here and give you this today? Don't you understand this? And this lady was like, Jerry was standing there